Maazi Ejiofor was married to Ujunwa. She gave birth to a girl child who they called Munachi. Ujunwa died due to a strange illness when Munachi was 10 years old. Munachi cried for weeks because she missed her mother. She was her best friend. After some time, she tried to be happy because her mother would like her to be. After Ujunwa's demise, Ejiofor married a new wife, Asamma, who already had an older daughter. Onyedika, she was senior to Munachi with 5 years. Asamma left her husband, who was no longer able to care for her luxury, and married Ejiofor, who was doing well in his business. After Ejiofor's marriage with Asamma, he no longer cared for Munachi. He only looks after Asamma and her daughter. Asamma did not like having Munachi in the house, but she could not send her out as it was not in her place to do so. Ejiofor would go on expensive vacations with Asamma and spend money on her. Munachi saw this. She knew she had to grow up and care for herself. Onyedika and her mother made her life hard, but whenever she reported to her father, he would often turn a blind eye. Munachi would always be giving from their leftovers. Asamma and Onyedika would buy new clothes and give their old ones to Munachi, which were sometimes too small or too big. Munachi is younger to Onyedika, but her clothes are tight on her. Munachi is on the curvy side. She has round hips and full chest. This made Asamma and Onyedika envy her shape and made her do more work to see if they would reduce in size, but to their shame, is shaped more nicely. And Muna slowly turned into a very beautiful young woman. Ejiofor's reckless spending had made him lose more money than he had gained in the past years. Now, he is looking for a wealthy man to invest in his business as it is going down. Chief Obiagu is the richest man in the whole kingdom. He has a daughter, Machi, and a son, Ahamefuna. Every young woman wants to marry him. He is so handsome, rich, and very smart in everything he does, but ended up using them for his satisfaction. Obiagu was tired of the kind of life Afam was living. He was tired of seeing different women in his house daily. He had discussed with Afam to find himself a good woman and settle down, but they ended up quarreling each time, so he took matters into his own hands. Obiagu sent an undercover man to find a very nice girl who is suitable to marry his son in their kingdom. After a few days, the man came back and described Munachi to Obiagu and told him that she was from the Ejiofor family. Obiagu was captivated. His undercover man did not give him two or more names, he gave him just one, and this made him eager to see Munachi. The next day, he took some gifts and went with his wife to Ejiofor's house. When they met Ejiofor, he said, "I have come with the intention to marry Munachi, your daughter, for my son Afam." When Asamma heard this, she was tempted to switch Munachi with her daughter, but they all know Afam's reputation. He is a very cold man, so hard to deal with, and he doesn't stick with one woman. She rather Munachi go there to suffer in his hands than allow her daughter to suffer. Ejiofor agreed to this only if he is willing to invest in the company, which he agreed, and asked for Munachi to be brought for him to see. When he saw her, he knew she was the right woman for his son. She looked so innocent and beautiful with striking curves at the right places. His wife agreed with him that she is the one. Ejiofor was ready to give Munachi to Obiagu if he gave him the money instantly, but they insisted that they would come back to marry her in a few days' time. When Obiagu left, Ejiofor told Muna that she was getting married in a few days' time and that she should prepare herself. Muna cried bitterly. She had just turned 19 a few months back, and her father couldn't wait to get rid of her, and she didn't even know who she was getting married to. Soon, the day for the marriage arrived, and Munachi refused to prepare herself. Her father threatened that if she doesn't get dressed to marry her husband, that he will send her out. Munachi, though, had always thought she doesn't belong here, but she doesn't want to be homeless. She didn't know how she would cope. Her father didn't even get her new clothes, so she went through her mother's things and found very nice clothes in her box, which Asama wanted to burn. She dressed up and applied some light makeup and went out when she was called. Everything has been settled, and since Munachi did not see any young man, then she saw Obiago, as he was dressed in expensive attire, and she concluded in her mind that he was her husband. Afam refused to come with his father as he did not agree to any marriage. They went to their carriage and then left for Obiagu's house. While they were on their way, Obiagu spoke. Munachi, I really understand what you are feeling. I don't know why your parents gave you up easily, but I know that I would have given them anything for your hand in marriage. I know you are the best woman for my son. Munachi was surprised. Your son? She asked. Did your parents not inform you? Obiagu said. No, they didn't. I thought you are my husband. No, Munachi. I have a wife. I married you for my son, Afam. I think you are the one to change him. Change him? I don't understand, Munachi asked. I know everything must be overwhelming for you, but I promise to explain to you when you are well rested. Munachi was confused, but she waited for his explanation. Soon they got home, and when Chief Obiagu told the maid to carry Munachi's luggage to Afam's room, they said to him that Afam had commanded them never to allow anyone to his room. Obiagu felt embarrassed. Then Muna said, It's okay, sir. I will stay in another room if there is any available. Yes, of course. Please take her to the room opposite Afam's room, Obiagu said. When she entered the room, she was surprised of how big it is and how beautiful. She was really tired of the day's event, so she took her bath and fell asleep almost immediately. The bright light from the window shone into the room, waking Muna from her sleep. She took her bath and went out for breakfast. On the dining table, she met Chief Obiagu, his wife, a beautiful young girl around her age and a very handsome man, but he has a frown on his face. She greeted everyone and they answered. Only the young man didn't answer. As they began to eat, Chief Obiago introduced the young girl as his daughter, Machi, and Afam his son, her now husband. Immediately he said that Afam raised his head to look at the girl his father had married for him. He didn't know what to expect, but he knew he wasn't expecting this beauty sitting across from him in all her natural glory. Suddenly he remembered that he was forced into all this. He glared at her and left the table without finishing his meal. Munachi's breath caught in her throat as she made eye contact with Afam. He was so handsome with manly features. She didn't have a speck before marriage, but she was sure he was her speck. But his stare turned into a glare. She bit her lips and looked on her lap, not wanting to see the hatred in his eyes. After breakfast, Chief Obiagu called Muna to his home office and explained things to her. Afam was in a very serious relationship with his then fiancée. She cheated on him with his best friend, and since then he never trusted any woman enough to be in a serious relationship. But he is getting old and needs to settle down and make his own family. I know you are a good girl. I want you to teach him what it is to feel loved again. Feel comfortable, and I would prefer if you call me Dad, Obiagu said. Okay, Dad, I will do what you have said, Munachi replied. Obiagu was surprised and he opened his arms with a smile on his face. He hugged Munachi. She felt at home and there was a peaceful smile on her face. After Chief Obiagu had left for work, she went to her room to change, only to find different beautiful clothes in the wardrobe. She hadn't stayed for 24 hours and she already felt like a princess. She wore one of the clothes and went to knock on Afam's door. When he came out, all words flew from her tongue, so she just smiled. Did you knock on my door just to smile at me? Afam said with a frown on his face. Oh, I'm sorry, she said shyly. Can I come inside? Mona asked. No, he said harshly. I don't want you near me, and especially not in my room. I would prefer if you stayed away from me. Then he shut the door on her face. Munachi left and went back to her room. Later in the day, Machi came and they spent the whole day together. Munachi asked her for ways to make her brother like her. Just take it one day at a time. I'm sure he will open up to you soon. I really like you, Muna, and I want you to be in our family. After some time staying with the Obiagu's family, almost everyone loved Munachi. She wasn't like any of the women Afam usually brings home. They liked her humble attitude. It's been 3 months after their marriage. Whenever she tries to talk to Afam, he will always snub her. So she tried to put notes on his door. The first time she wrote, you know, you would look more handsome if you had a smile on your face, Mr. Grumpy. Good morning from your beloved wife, Munachi. She knew he saw her note and she was okay if he didn't reply. She is so beautiful and cheerful. She is just what I need in my life. She's adding colors in my life without her knowing it. She's the first person I look forward to seeing every day, even though I had been terrible to her all these months. She has been nothing but good to me. She's proving to me that everyone is different. I'm beginning to have a soft spot for her, but I don't think I'm ready to open my heart yet to anyone. I still need some time, Afam thought. Chief Obiagu traveled for business and Afam did not come down for breakfast. So Munachi asked Machi. She discovered that Afam was down with a fever. She went to his room and when she touched his body, he was heating up. so she quickly brought some cold water and towels. She placed one on his head and was unbuttoning his shirt when he held her hand. "Are you trying to seduce me? I thought I told you I don't want you in my room." Muna tried to talk, but he shouted at her to get out. "I was just trying to help you. Get out of my room now!" Tears filled her eyes and she rushed out crying. Immediately, he felt guilty. He could hear her sobbing. She didn't even come for dinner. From then on, she avoided him like a plague. Even when Obiagu told her to prepare that she would be going to a party with Afam, but she made an excuse saying she was sick. Afam knew she was pretending. He saw her earlier and she was okay, and this vexed him. One evening, when everyone had gone to bed, he went to Munachi's room. The bright moon casted its glow on her delicate skin. He sat close to her and slowly caressed her face. "Since the first day I saw you, I was enchanted by your beauty. But as I get to know you, I can't stop myself from loving you. You think I don't notice you, but I do. I'm sorry for every time I have made you cry or made you sad." Then after some time, he left. Munachi knew when he came. She pretended to sleep. She heard everything he had said to her. For the second time, Obiago needed Afam and Muna to attend the party. They dressed and left for the venue. When they got there, couples were dancing, but Afam was not offering her to dance with him. Then a man came and offered for her to dance with him, and she agreed. While they were dancing, she felt eyes on her. When she turned, she saw Afam with a very angry expression. His hands were fisted. Is he jealous? She thought. Suddenly, she felt a presence behind her, and it was Afam. He tapped on her dance partner. "Can I have my wife back?" Her dance partner was reluctant to give her up when Afam forcefully took her and she collided on his chest. "You are my wife and you are expected to only dance with me." Muna didn't want to argue and spoil this romantic moment. She just stared at him while he held her possessively. She then caught him looking at her lips, and then he claimed her lips and kissed her passionately. When they got home, they consummated their marriage. From then on, their love grew strong every day. One day, she heard from someone that they saw Afam and the woman drinking and holding hands at a bar. Mona felt stupid for thinking he had changed. She took some clothes and left. When Afam returned, he looked for Muna everywhere until he got a lead where she was. He found her in a motel. He explained that it was his ex that came to him, insisting they spend time like they used to, but she declined her. "I will never allow you to leave me, not when I have fallen head over heels in love with you." And they promised to be with each other against all odds. The morals of this story is that 1. Don't put your life on hold because of unfaithful people. Everyone is different. 2. Humbleness and kindness are important traits. 3. Tomorrow will always be unknown. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment and share our stories. See you in our next one. Bye.